Jack Nicholson's life has often been described as something out of a Hollywood script, full of unexpected turns, buried truths, and larger-than-life achievements. From the outside, it looks like the story of a man who conquered cinema, but underneath that success lies a personal history shaped by secrecy and later revelations that reportedly changed how he understood his own identity. At the peak of his fame, Nicholson's life story took on an even more dramatic layer when long, hidden family details came to light, creating a wave of shock and fascination around him. The idea that someone could build an entire identity on a carefully maintained family secret adds a surreal dimension to his biography. While he continued to thrive professionally, the emotional weight of such revelations combined with an already intense public life makes his journey feel both triumphant and unsettling at the same time. A birth surrounded by complicated family ties, Jack Nicholson was born in 1937 in Neptune City, New Jersey, into circumstances that were far from straightforward. His mother, June Frances Nicholson, was extremely young at the time, and the identity of his father was never conclusively confirmed, fueling speculation for decades. Because of complicated relationships and social pressures, Nicholson was raised under a fabricated family structure that concealed the truth about his parentage. What he believed to be his sister was actually his mother, while the woman he thought was his mother was, in reality, his grandmother. This arrangement was reportedly designed to protect the family's reputation in a small town environment where scandal could have lasting consequences. Growing up in this environment, Nicholson had no reason to question the narrative presented to him, and he spent his early years believing in a version of his family history that would later be completely overturned. Childhood built on silence and normality despite the unusual truth behind his upbringing. Nicholson's childhood appeared ordinary from the outside. He grew up in New Jersey in a modest household where creativity and humor played a central role in his personality. Known in school for being witty and expressive, he developed early signs of the charisma that would later define his screen presence. The family maintained their secret consistently, ensuring that Nicholson never suspected the truth about his parentage. Even as he matured and began forming memories of his early life, nothing suggested that his family structure was anything other than normal. This carefully preserved illusion remained intact for decades, even during moments of emotional significance, such as visits with relatives later revealed to have different biological roles than he believed. The silence surrounding his origins shaped a childhood that was stable on the surface, but later revealed to be deeply complex. A shocking revelation years later, the truth about Nicholson's family reportedly came to light in the mid-1970s, when a researcher working on a magazine feature discovered inconsistencies in official records related to his birth. What began as a routine fact-checking process quickly evolved into a life-altering revelation. Nicholson was informed that the woman he believed to be his sister was actually his mother, and that his grandmother had taken on the role of his mother to maintain the family's secret. Initially skeptical, he sought confirmation from relatives, and the truth was eventually acknowledged within the family circle. By this time, both key family members involved in the deception had already passed away, leaving Nicholson with answers but no opportunity for further conversation. The timing of the revelation, occurring during his rise in Hollywood, added another layer of emotional complexity to an already high-pressure life. Acceptance and emotional perspective, despite the shocking nature of the discovery. Nicholson reportedly responded with a level of emotional restraint that surprised many observers. Rather than expressing anger or betrayal, he framed the revelation as something that helped him understand certain aspects of his life more clearly. In later reflections, he suggested that while the truth was dramatic, it did not fundamentally destabilize his sense of identity. Instead, it offered context for unanswered questions he had never fully articulated before. This perspective may have been shaped by his personality and his ability to compartmentalize personal experiences while focusing on his work. While the emotional impact cannot be fully measured from the outside, Nicholson's public comments indicate a pragmatic acceptance rather than a breakdown or crisis, reinforcing his reputation as someone who processes life's extremes with unusual steadiness. Struggles before stardom in Hollywood. Long before becoming a household name, Nicholson spent years struggling to establish himself in Hollywood. After moving to Los Angeles in his late teens, he initially worked in low-level studio jobs, including animation department tasks that provided little recognition or financial reward. His early ambition was to act, but casting directors often dismissed him for not fitting conventional leading man expectations. For nearly a decade, he navigated rejection, small roles, and uncertainty about whether he would ever succeed. During this period, he also explored screenwriting, using his creativity to stay connected to the film industry. These years of persistence, although difficult, helped him build relationships with influential figures in independent cinema, laying the groundwork for his eventual breakthrough. His experience reflects the reality that even iconic careers often begin with long periods of struggle and limited recognition. Breakthrough roles that changed everything. Nicholson's career trajectory changed dramatically in the late 1960s and early 1970s. His role in Easy Rider became a defining moment, earning him widespread attention and an Academy Award nomination. The performance showcased his ability to embody complex, unconventional characters, setting him apart from traditional Hollywood actors of the time. Shortly after, his work in Five Easy Pieces further solidified his reputation, particularly through emotionally charged scenes that became cultural touchstones. These performances demonstrated a raw intensity and authenticity that resonated with audiences and critics alike. With each project, Nicholson moved further away from obscurity and closer to becoming one of the most recognizable faces in American cinema. His rise was not sudden, but rather the result of years of persistence finally aligning with the right opportunities. Oscar glory and cinematic masterpieces. The 1970s marked Nicholson's transformation into an elite Hollywood figure, particularly with his role in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. His performance as Randall McMurphy became one of the most celebrated in film history, earning him an Academy Award and contributing to the film's unprecedented sweep of major Oscars. The intensity he brought to the role reflected his commitment to immersive acting, often pushing emotional boundaries to achieve realism. This era cemented his status as one of the most influential actors of his generation. The success of the film also highlighted his ability to choose roles that balanced artistic depth with cultural impact. By this stage, Nicholson was no longer simply a rising star, but a defining figure in American cinema, capable of shaping the direction of major film narratives. The Shining and the Joker deal that made history. Nicholson's role in The Shining further demonstrated his ability to deliver unforgettable performances in psychologically complex roles. His portrayal of Jack Torrance became iconic, blending intensity with unpredictability in a way that left a lasting mark on horror cinema. Around the same period, his decision to play the Joker in Batman proved to be one of the most financially strategic moves in Hollywood history. Instead of a traditional salary arrangement, he negotiated a percentage of profits, resulting in extraordinary long-term earnings. His interpretation of the Joker redefined the character for future generations and set a standard for cinematic villains. These roles reinforced his reputation not only as a talented actor, but also as someone with a sharp understanding of the industry's evolving dynamics. Awards, records, and a legendary career. Over the course of his career, Nicholson accumulated an extraordinary number of accolades, including multiple Academy Awards and numerous nominations spanning several decades. His consistency in delivering critically acclaimed performances placed him among the most respected actors in film history. Few performers have managed to remain relevant across such a long period while maintaining both critical and commercial success. His work influenced generations of actors and filmmakers, many of whom cite his performances as foundational inspirations. Beyond awards, his legacy is defined by the emotional range and complexity he brought to his roles, often portraying characters that were flawed, unpredictable, and deeply human. His contribution to cinema is widely regarded as one of the most significant in modern film history. Relationships, family complexity, and public image, Nicholson's personal life has often been as widely discussed as his career. His relationships with various partners over the years attracted significant media attention, contributing to his reputation as one of Hollywood's most charismatic and controversial figures. He fathered several children from different relationships, though his involvement with them has varied widely according to public accounts. Some of these relationships were stable and enduring, while others were marked by distance and complexity. His long-term relationship with actress Angelica Huston was particularly notable, characterized by deep emotional connection alongside significant turbulence. Public perception of his personal life has often been shaped by stories of romance, separation, and unresolved tensions, adding to the mythic quality surrounding his public persona. A quiet life away from the spotlight in later years, Nicholson gradually stepped back from acting, with his last major film appearance occurring in 2010. Since then, he has largely chosen privacy over public visibility, spending most of his time away from the demands of Hollywood. He remains associated with his long-standing passion for basketball, particularly as a devoted supporter of the Los Angeles Lakers, where he became a familiar courtside presence for decades. His reduced public appearances have fueled speculation about his health and retirement, but close associates have described him as mentally sharp and content with his lifestyle. His retreat from public life reflects a deliberate choice to prioritize personal peace over continued fame. Legacy of a Hollywood icon. Jack Nicholson's life story remains one of the most fascinating in entertainment history, combining extraordinary professional achievement with deeply complex personal revelations. From a childhood shaped by secrecy to a career defined by iconic performances, his journey reflects both triumph and contradiction. He is remembered not only for his unforgettable roles, but also for the mythic aura that surrounds his life story. Whether on screen as a volatile character or off-screen as a private individual navigating fame, Nicholson has left an indelible mark on global cinema. His legacy endures through the films he created, the performances he delivered, and the cultural impact he continues to hold even in semi-retirement.